4th, 2002, New England gets to celebrate its first Super Bowl championship as the Patriots pull off an NFL upset. The news starts now.
Now, Eyewitness News at 5.
And good evening, I'm Terzi alongside Denise tonight.
Just about 45 minutes ago, the New England Patriots arrived back home. A procession of charter buses drove them out of Boston's Logan Airport and down to Foxborough Stadium. Tomorrow, fans will get to celebrate the team's win in a massive parade and rally in downtown Boston.
But today in Connecticut and all across New England, everybody is snapping up Pat's paraphernalia. Tasha Jamerson now joins us live at Dick's Sporting Goods in Newington with the story there. Tasha.
Well, Alan, Denise, this rack says it all. Take a look at this, empty. And I got to tell you, when we first arrived here, there were 3 other racks just like this one, full. That was just a couple of hours ago. That just tells you how hot this stuff is. And just about any place that sells a merchandise, Patriots merchandise, of course, has been crazy busy since they opened bright and early this morning. Here we go, Super Bowl champ. That's what I want. They don't have this. This is the moment Pats fans have been hoping and praying for. And for many people, of course, after rejoicing after the big win, these articles, the first thing on their minds.
Well, we had several phone calls, a lot of inquiries about product, what kind of product we were going to have in, and what time it was going to arrive.
The demand's so high at the Sports Authority in Farmington, they opened an hour and a half early, and there was still a line waiting at the door.
I want to get first to the shirts. I want to get the champions, and I want to be sure I have something to record it. She'll have to.
Jean McGuire is a lifelong Pats fan. She says this merchandise is extremely important, not just to her, but her entire family.
Absolutely incredible. I thought if my heart didn't stop after that last quarter of the game and then coming down to those final seconds, I mean, it was just pandemonium in my house. And like I say, we're speaking a little hoarse due to it.
I'm going to be heading into work shortly, so I just wanted to come before work so I can wear it in and everybody can see.
A few miles away at Dick's Sporting Goods in Newington, just as much excitement.
Perfect fit.
Not as much merchandise. This stuff has been flying out the door.
Just opened up the boxes and they just, took what they needed and, taking it out by the armful.
But even with the empty racks, there's been nothing but smiles here.
They're very happy customers.
And if you weren't able to get out and you're kind of worried that you're not going to be able to get your Pats merchandise, don't worry. Every place we've talked to said that they are getting shipments every day, even here at Dick's. They're expecting a shipment any time now, and they're getting a shipment in the morning. So if you haven't gotten out to get your Pats stuff, you still have plenty of time. And I got to tell you, they have some really great stuff. This is a really great hat, Denise, and I think I'm going to buy one because I've been waiting for this a long time. Lifelong Pats fan here. Denise.
Good for you. You wear it well. Tasha Jamerson reporting live from Newington. Governor Rowland says he was rooting for the Patriots last night. You may remember the governor pronounced himself a New York Jets fan after the Patriots canceled plans to move to Hartford back in 1999. But Governor Rowland says team owner Robert Kraft called him just last Thursday.
I hear gov, 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 and knowing that voice, it was Kraft that called. He said, I want to thank you for the executive pardon. To which I explained that was for the fans and for the team. He was not getting any executive pardon. But I wished him well. And
the governor says it would have been nice to have the Super Bowl champions based at the new Adrian's Landing project in Hartford, but he adds it was not meant to be. The American journalist kidnapped in Pakistan has now been missing for 12 days.
And tonight, the fate of Daniel Pearl is still unknown. He was last seen in the Pakistan border city of Karachi. Tonight, the massive search for him continues, and it has spread to all parts of Pakistan.
Let's get the latest now on this puzzling story from Channel 3's Dennis House. Dennis?
Denise and Al, good evening. After countless appeals for proof that Daniel Pearl is still alive, there is still silence today from his kidnappers. Meanwhile, Pearl's wife is pleading with these mysterious captors to let her husband go. The fate of Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl is still uncertain, although investigators in Pakistan say they think he is still alive.
Yeah, we are very much hopeful that he's alive because so far we have not received any evidence of his death.
Threatening emails stating Pearl had been killed turned out to be hoaxes. Over the weekend, Pakistani authorities searched graveyards and vacant lots looking for his body. Pearl's wife, Marianne, was even taken to view a body that turned out not to be him. In a letter to local newspapers, Mrs. Pearl, who is pregnant, appealed to her husband's kidnappers. Quote, "I want to tell the people who are holding Danny that there is nothing to gain from holding an innocent man who feels for humanity." The U.S. government says it is doing what it can to find Pearl, but there will be no negotiating with his kidnappers. Pakistan's President Pervez Musharraf will visit Washington early next week, and Pearl's kidnapping may overshadow that trip during conversations with President Bush. Denise?
All right, Dennis House in the newsroom tonight. There's more evidence tonight that these September attacks may be linked to the bombing of the USS Cole. Two top al-Qaeda members are now being sought by security forces in Yemen for their role in the year 2000 attack, which killed 17 sailors. Yemeni officials also believe the men may have ties to the al-Qaeda attacks on 2 U.S. embassies and the September 11th attacks. 8 crew members have been injured in an accident involving the USS John F. Kennedy. The carrier collided with a refueling ship late last night about 100 miles off the coast of Florida. The injuries were minor, and we're told there's hardly any damage to the carrier. The Kennedy went to sea yesterday for 2 days of sea trials after faring poorly during an inspection back in December.
Now, from the Doppler 3000 Weather Center, Miles Muzio.
Good evening, everyone. We've had some fairly nice weather today, up into the 40s. There's very cold air just to the west of us, and we're going to begin to see a little of that filter into the area tonight. Here's the forecast first. We're looking for partly cloudy skies as we look outside in downtown Hartford. Partly cloudy skies and temperatures dropping into the 20s later on. And a partly cloud as we go to the shoreline as well. Look for temperatures that are a little warmer in the 30s for the most part, but dropping below freezing, well below freezing later on tonight. Do we have anything to worry about from a storm developing out in the southern part of the country later this week? I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. Al?
Okay, Miles, the members of Congress have a little bit of reading to do. The president has just sent them his budget, and it's hot off the presses. It arrived at the Capitol Printing Office today. It calls for the biggest increase in defense spending in 20 years, most of the money for upgrading weapons and for giving America's military pay raises. And coming up on Eyewitness News at 6, how Connecticut could benefit from the president's plan. The president's budget also is proposing nearly $6 billion to combat bioterrorism, including anthrax attacks. In New Haven today, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro took a behind-the-scenes tour at the microbiology lab at the Yale Medical School. This is where research on infectious diseases, such as anthrax, is conducted.
Looking at what the president is currently proposing in the budget to talk about 2 things. One, the amount of money that is devoted to research and also the amount of money that will go for trying to build that public health infrastructure, which is so critical in our being able to deal with both the prevention and the treatment of these potential threats.
Doctors at the Yale lab told Congresswoman DeLauro they think there should be increased staffing there. They also called for the creation of bioterrorism centers in the state's hospitals.
A controversial announcement today by the nation's largest pediatricians group. The American Academy of Pediatrics is endorsing homosexual adoption. The group says gay couples can provide the loving, stable, and emotionally healthy family life that children need. Critics say the group relied on flawed data and is meddling in a political issue.
And we're going to begin tonight's consumer headlines with word of a recall involving a popular type of oven.
3 on Your Side reporter Deborah Kent fills in the details. Deborah?
2400 Thermador gas ranges are being recalled tonight because they pose a burn hazard. The ranges are made by BHS Home Appliances. Now, these are the 48-inch double oven variety. Hot air is sent through a vent below the small oven, which can get the door dangerously hot. The ranges were sold from March of '98 through last November for up to $6,300. For more information and free repairs, call this number you see there, 800-735-4328. Last fall, a New Haven car rental company made national news for fining its renters for speeding. Fines based on a GPS satellite system mounted in the car. Consumer Protection charged those fines were illegal, but Acme Rental claimed the speeding resulted in greater wear and tear on the cars. Eyewitness News has learned that the hearing officer has ruled on the case, and it's now in the hands of Commissioner James Fleming, who says he will release his ruling later this week. And finally, the information superhighway is more crowded than ever. A Commerce Department report says in 2001,
54% of all Americans use the internet. That's compared with just 28% the year before. What a growth. And by the way, sending and receiving email continues to be the nation's favorite online activity. Okay, you've received your W-2 forms. You may be anxious for that tax refund, but beware of refund loans. They carry huge interest rates. Now, the fee can seem small, but is it really worth the short-term value? We're going to have that story in half an hour.
Okay, we'll be taking notes.
Okay.
Thank you, Deborah. An airline pilot is being blamed for flying straight into turbulence after being warned not to.
Details on that coming right up, followed by these reports tonight.
2002, and Hartford is averaging a murder a week. Now community leaders calling for state reinforcement once again in the streets. I'm Kim Fettig. The details coming up.
Ooh, the Norwalk flu is a nasty bug, and it's taking Connecticut by storm, and it's no fun, is it? No. No, and you know what? I'm Bryce Daniels. Carter and I are going to tell you all about it straight ahead.
There's a procedure that claims to zap away the wrinkles and get you back to work the very same day, and it's offered right here in Connecticut. I'm Ellee Pai Hong, and I'll tell you all about it coming up on the Health Beat.
You're watching Eyewitness News at 5 for Cheshire, Marlborough, Deep River, and your town, too.
Denise and I will be right back.
Tonight on Eyewitness News Night Beat at 11, there are patches to help smokers kick the habit, but a patch to help you lose weight?
It's really just about how I look to myself and where I feel comfortable at. So
they are all the craze in Europe. Now this guaranteed way to lose weight is invading Connecticut. We'll show you how they work. Plus, we'll leave the patch with one Connecticut woman and have her put it to the test for you. Tonight on Eyewitness News Night Beat at 11, Connecticut's news station.
The pilot is being blamed for a turbulent flight that injured 5 people last year. The America West plane flew into severe turbulence on a New York to Las Vegas trip. The plane plunged for 16 seconds, falling about 300 feet and creating chaos in the cabin. Today, the National Transportation Safety Board says the pilot failed to change course, even though flight dispatchers had sent out turbulence warnings.
For the first time ever, the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, is singling out cell phone use as a possible factor in a deadly car crash. This particular crash in a city not far from Washington last Friday claimed the lives of 5 people. And the driver of an SUV lost control and flipped over a guardrail, slamming into an oncoming minivan. Witnesses say the SUV driver was talking on a cell phone. Time now to check on the traffic situation around here tonight. Matt McKenzie has our live Timesaver traffic report. Matt?
Hi, Al. Overall, Hartford traffic moves along in good shape. 91 north and south, fine through town. I-84. Tap of the brakes on the eastbound side, Capitol Avenue into the Bulkley Bridge. That's heading towards you. Westbound is slow at Flatbush Avenue. Northbound side of the Wilbercross Parkway by exit 55. An unauthorized tractor-trailer being pushed off the highway, but that has quite a bit of a backup. That's in Milford. Northbound side of 95 by exit 46 shows a slow ride. Not necessarily the best camera shot here, but it's a little bit slow away from you. Better camera shot northbound 95 by exit 53 with a tap of the brakes before the Lake Saltonstall Bridge. Matt McKenzie for Timesaver Traffic.
Thanks, Matt. On the Health Beat tonight, several new drugs have been approved by the FDA. We'll start with the one that treats asthma in children. The drug is Xopenex. It is administered through a fine mist and comes from a nebulizer placed over the child's nose and mouth, as we see here. It's approved for children aged 6 to 11 with asthma. Also approved, Gleevec. This drug has shown promise in treating gastrointestinal stromal tumors, which until now have been very hard to treat. And finally, the FDA has approved Neulasta, a drug that fights life-threatening infections caused by chemotherapy. With the wave of a wand, you may be able now to zap years off your skin. Tonight, HealthBEAT reporter Ellee Pai Hong takes us inside a local doctor's office to give us a first-hand look at a laser treatment that may help wrinkles just disappear.
Good evening. We're here at Dr. Lawrence Fortier's office in Wethersfield, where he's about to perform a laser wrinkle procedure. It's a technique used to zap away wrinkles in just a few minutes. Dr. Fortier is here to explain to us, how does this work, doctor?
Well, this is one of the lasers that we have that will help improve the appearance of the skin by going through the top layers of the skin without causing any significant change, but it'll affect the change in the collagen, which is in the bottom half of the skin. And collagen is what When it's damaged, it's what causes wrinkles.
And by stimulating the collagen, it will help get rid of those wrinkles.
It does a nice job of that, right?
Okay, great. Dawn Broder is here to get the procedure done herself. Dawn, tell us why you're here.
I'm here basically because I wanted to minimize fine lines and wrinkles and also just improve the overall tone and complexion of my skin.
Okay. Now we're going to take a look, but first off, we're going to put on our goggles because it is a laser procedure.
I can feel a couple little snaps.
Each procedure lasts about 10 minutes, and patients can return to work the very same day. Most patients need 3 to 5 treatments in order to see maximum results. And Dr. Fortier says it'll take a month to 2 months to see those maximum results. Doctor, what are some of the side effects to this procedure?
Well, the side effects, the most common side effect is a little bit of redness, which is actually something we want. Other side effects are a little bit of swelling, which is not common, and bruising is very uncommon.
But all of that will disappear.
Everything disappears rapidly.
Okay.
Most people walk out without any problem. At most, a little red, that'll go away by the end of the day.
Okay. Dawn, how does this feel?
It feels warm. There's a little bit of mild stinging, but it's not uncomfortable at all, and it's not painful at all.
This procedure works best for patients with mild to moderate wrinkles and also for patients with scars. It's not covered by insurance and costs about $500 for treatment. On the Health Beat, I'm Ellee Pai Hong, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, it's a common observation that many parents have. Kids seem to be growing up too fast these days, but it really can happen. New on the Health Beat at 6, a look at early puberty and why it can be a sign of other health problems.
Problems on Wall Street today. Stock prices sank as investors bailed out of the market rather than to sit through the latest round of accounting worries and earnings concerns. The Dow Jones Industrial Average tumbled 220 points. It's now fallen below 9,700. Trading volume today about 1.4 billion shares. The broader market S&P 500 lost almost 28 points. It's down to 1094. And the tech-weighted NASDAQ dropped 55 points today. It's set at 1855.
So far, so good for February.
Yeah, the weather's shaping up pretty nicely, and we hope it stays quiet.
Miles will have the 5-day forecast right after the break.
I knew at 5:30 you're going to get to meet the tallest woman. We'll be right back.
Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6. It's supposed to keep your kids off drugs, so why aren't some Connecticut towns dropping DARE? The I-Team shows you why some say it's giving parents a false sense of security. Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6. The Pats bring home the Super Bowl trophy, and only one Connecticut station was live in New Orleans bringing you the story behind the game.
The New England Patriots, at least for 2001-2002, were indeed a team of destiny.
From the Superdome to Bourbon Street and all points in between, keeping you informed of all the pregame hype, plus Battle in the Bayou, the only live pregame show before the big game. Channel 3, proving to you once again why we are Connecticut's news station. Now, your Doppler 3000 weather with Miles Muzio.
Happy Monday, everybody. The day after Super Sunday, and it's been a super day, actually. Temperatures today up into the 40s in many spots. Just to our west, it is bone-chilling cold, and some of that cold is going to move in our direction. Here's what we got outside right now. It's currently 40 degrees. The wind's generally light. The pressure is low, and the humidity is not too bad either. Temperatures are in the 40s, lots of 40s. The 40s are wild, from Hartford, Meriden, Groton over to Norwich, and 30s other places. But really, the temperatures haven't been all that bad. Here is what the big radar picture looks like. We've got this area of instability just to our west. You can see it coming in our direction, and then it makes a turn. It looks like it's going to actually miss us entirely to the south. I was toying with the idea of a few flurries in maybe Litchfield County, perhaps northern portions of Fairfield County, but it looks like it's all going to miss us to the south. Temperatures now 36 at Bradley and Boston. 41 in New York, but look, just to the west of us, we're down into the mid-teens, and it's falling down there. Temperature is quite cold. This is an upper-level affair right here, and it is pushing, again, to the south of us. It's not really bodily moving to the east, and we're not going to get any snows from this. It's all going to the south of us right now. The front itself, though, is just to our west. You can see the low-pressure system up here right around Rochester, the Syracuse area. It's pushing down to the south. It's been snowing in Washington, D.C., places like that, down to the south of us. And high pressure will begin to move on in. Temperatures cool. We're down into the 20s, well down to the south. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, 20 degrees. Pittsburgh, I remember last week they were 72 degrees. Now they're 20 degrees and things beginning to really cool off. We're going to see all that weather zip down to the south, and then we're going to get into a nice northwest flow, a fairly stiff northwest flow, and that'll keep us cool and breezy tomorrow. It should be sunny, though, and going into Wednesday looks nice, too. We're going to watch the system developing down across the northern Gulf of Mexico in the southern jet stream, and I think that we're under the influence of the northern jet stream. So on Thursday night and Friday, this will probably just miss us to the south, but we're going to continue to watch it. And here is what we've got for the next couple of days. Look for the temperatures to hold in the 30s for highs, although just barely that. Tomorrow it'll be in the 20s most of the day, and chilly at night. We don't have any serious threats right now, although Thursday night and Friday is the one opportunity for some snow, and that'll be, we're going to continue to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
It's too dry, though. We do need some precipitation, as you know.
You do? Okay.
And hopefully we're going to get some.
All right, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Miles. Well, Alan Smith says it is never too early to think spring.
That's what I always say, too. And we're going to do that just after the break. Also, excitement building in Hartford tonight. Just a few hours from now, Billy Joel and Elton John on stage. We'll have a preview coming up at 6.
Tomorrow morning on Eyewitness News starting at 5.
A horse is a horse, of course, but who takes care of the horse? It's a farrier. That's tomorrow on Channel 3 Eyewitness News as my series Antique Professions continues.
Tomorrow morning on Eyewitness News starting at 5.
It may seem like spring is a long way off, but people in the plant business are very busy getting spring seedlings ready to sell. Alan Smith takes us behind the scenes.
Spring may be the furthest thing from your mind right now, but you know, behind the scenes there are a lot of people working hard to get ready for the big planting season. Believe it or not, the experts tell us that we're buying billions of flowers every year as the craze for gardening continues to grow. Many of these flowers are classic annuals, like salvia, marigolds, and petunias. But the popularity of perennials is at an all-time high. I guess it's because they can come back year after year in the garden, and there's so many interesting flower forms among them. It's just amazing to me how quickly little plants like these columbine, foxglove, and daisies can make such a splash in your garden. Depending on the variety, whether it's an annual or perennial, many growers plant them directly from seed in large trays and then divide the tiny seedlings into individual cell packs. For many of the annuals, it's actually easy to grow these at home, but you'll want to get a head start at least 5 to 6 weeks before the last frost date. And if you're a vegetable grower and you like those specialty tomatoes and peppers, it's important to get your order in because before you know it, it'll be time to plant them. If you're interested in growing some of these not-so-common varieties and would like some sources, just check out my website. It's amazing to me that with just a little light, water, and heat, these plants will be up and blooming in no time. So when spring fever hits and you're ready to get your hands in the soil, they'll be ready for you. From the garden, I'm Alan Smith.
And that'll do it for Eyewitness News at 5. Thanks for sharing your time with us tonight. Eyewitness News 5:30 is coming up next, and here's the preview.
All right. New at 5:30 on Connecticut's news station.
Ooh, the Norwalk flu is a nasty bug, and it's taking Connecticut by storm, and it's no fun, is it? No. No, and you know what? I'm Bryce Daniels. Carter and I are going to tell you all about it straight ahead.
And
with the internet in so many homes, protecting your family and protecting major computer networks is the topic of a conference here in Connecticut. I'm Andrew Pergam. I'll take you there coming up.
Plus,
former Enron chief Kenneth Lay is subpoenaed by Congress as they push harder for answers on the Enron collapse.
Also,
You don't want to wait for the IRS to mail you your tax refund? Wait till you hear about the interest rates on those refund loans. I'm Deborah Kent with details.
these stories and much more as Eyewitness News continues.